Today we are talking about some simple plant-based proteins, and I wanted to talk about this for a couple of reasons. First, because this is a super weird time that we're in, and I'm still having lots of people tell me that when they go to the grocery store, they're missing things. In fact, I'm actually going to do a blog post on this that's coming out on Sunday, talking about what's going on in our food supply right now, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I wanted to talk a little bit about the alternative to animal proteins, which are plant-based proteins. And there are a lot of them out there, and they're super easy to use. Sometimes they're even simpler than using the meat options. So I wanted to chat about those. And also, a lot of these are really good for you. They sometimes are even cheaper than the meat alternatives, so that's really awesome. They're easy to store and they're really tasty. So I have 7 different options that we're gonna go through, and let's get started. So the first one is kind of obvious. It's tofu. I think that that's what everybody thinks about when they think about plant-based proteins is tofu. But there's a lot of different ways that you can prepare tofu. I like it actually because it's kind of bland, which is a pro and a con. So obviously it doesn't taste like much if it's bland, but that also means that you can give it whatever flavor you want to. So you can fry tofu in oil. You can actually slice it and grill it. We oftentimes use the same marinade on tofu as we would for our meat. I have a honey bourbon glaze that I really like. You can also grind this up, kind of crumble it so that it resembles beef crumbles, and actually use it like beef or pork crumbles in tacos or in other wraps. The other thing I like to do with tofu is you can actually scramble it like eggs. If you add a little turmeric, it turns yellow and it looks like eggs. It's the craziest thing if you've never tried it. So tofu is number 1. Number 2 on my list are nuts. So mixed nuts, I have almonds here. There's a ton of different kinds of nuts, obviously walnuts, cashews, pecans. All of them have a little bit different fat and oil blend in them, and so they have different nutrients. And so I encourage you getting a variety of all kinds of nuts so that you have a variety of all of this nutrition. If you happen to have an allergy to nuts or don't like them, I also recommend seeds. Sunflower seeds, these are actually, I think they were butternut squash seeds that I roasted, but if you don't want to roast your own, you can also buy those in the store. So also really good options, throw them on a salad or on your oatmeal in the morning. Great way to get other protein. Okay, number 3 are canned beans. I have my 2 favorites here. I have black beans, which have a ton of nutrition. An easy way to tell how much nutrition a food has is to look at the color. And because black beans are dark and rich, you know that there's a ton of different nutrients in them. It's sort of like how kale is a really dark green vegetable, and so it also has a ton of nutrition in it. I love canned beans because you can rinse them and throw them on a salad, put them in a wrap, do something really quickly without any prep. You can heat them if you want to, or you can literally eat them straight out of the can. Chickpeas are another favorite of mine. They're the base of hummus, which is another really good, easy protein option that's plant-based, but you can also roast or even grill chickpeas. So they are also super versatile and really handy to have in your pantry. Throw them in a salad, put them in a wrap, make them into a Mediterranean bowl, make your black beans into a quick Mexican bowl, and you've got something super simple and yummy. Okay, number 4, you won't be surprised, it's lentils. You guys know how much I love lentils, and if you don't, then I will drop a link to my favorite lentils recipe, which is lentil Frito pie. I'm sure you've heard me talk about it before, but it is one of my favorites, and a lot of other people love it. So lentils cook up in like 30 to 45 minutes. They do not require soaking, unlike dry beans. So they're a super simple, handy thing to keep in your pantry. They store for a really long time because they're dry. So these are green lentils, but red lentils are also a really good option to make a dal, and they cook even faster than green lentils. So go check those out. Okay, number 5 are nut butters. We always think of peanut butter when we think of nut butters, but of course there's also a lot of other options of different types of nuts. So you can find almond butter, cashew butter, a lot of something different just to get a different flavor. Or again, if you have a nut sensitivity, sunflower seed butter is a really good option. Okay. Number 5. This one is a little bit more rare, but I have some edamame with me. This happens to be in the shell, you can see, but you can also get edamame already shelled. I like these for 2 different reasons. So if it's in the shell, they make a really good snack. You can steam the whole bag in the microwave, take it out. I like to dip it in soy sauce or sometimes put taco seasoning or chili powder on them, and then you eat them out of the pod. The pods are not edibles, keep that in mind, but they're a fun little snack, and you can eat the entire bag Literally the entire bag has 250 calories. So it's a super great snack if you're looking for something instead of popcorn or chips or something. Try edamame, put a little bit of salt on it, and you'll really enjoy that. Okay, my very last, number 7, is actually a grain. It's quinoa. So we've talked a lot about the legume side of proteins. Vegetarian proteins only have, not all of them have all 9 essential amino acids that our bodies need. And so it's important to get your protein sources from a variety. And although we don't typically think of grains such as oatmeal, quinoa, whole grain, pasta, bread, even our grains do have some protein in them. And so quinoa is one of the higher grains that's higher in protein, so that's a really good source. I also love it because it cooks in about 15 to 20 minutes, so if you're looking for a quick meal, it can be a really good substitute for white rice. So for example, in those Mexican bowls, maybe you grab your black beans, you get your quinoa, maybe you have your salsa, you've got a vegetable, a really good source of protein from both of these, and you've got a whole grain. So a lot of nutrition, but a meal that you could throw together in certainly less than 30 minutes. So I would love to hear what your favorite protein, vegetarian or plant-based protein options are. If you have any go-tos or if there's any specific ways you like to throw them together, I would love to hear it. So feel free to drop a comment or send me a message. I always love to hear from you. If you want to hear anything else in the upcoming weeks, I'm also looking for other topics for some of these short little live videos. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.